We're doing a video today on auto-digitizing using generations. To start, I will reach over and left click the insert image icon, and that brings up my select graphics screen, and it is pointing to a particular image folder that I have, that everyone has, that has generations. It's in the Gens EMB library image folder. There's also a design folder, but it's pointing here, so that's where it opened up. I want to use the butterfly for our project, so I'm going to double left click, and that brings it straight into my image processing box. And in the image processing box, it comes in as simple artwork. That's because it really is a clean image. It is a WMF image, which is a vector file. We also take in EMF, enhanced meta files. WMF stands for Windows meta file. EMF stands for enhanced meta files. They are both vector images. Those are the only two vector images that the program takes. It will not take EPS, or it will not take AI. So you're wasting your time to try it, really. Okay. I'm going to use the defaults on the screen. There's a few defaults here, and I'm going to use those as they are. So I'll left click on the OK button, and it brings the image, the resize box up. I'm going to use the resize, the size that is here, 91.3 by 72 millimeters, X and Y. You could change the X dimension if you wanted a bigger size or a smaller size, and the Y dimension would change correspondingly because the maintain aspect ratio is checked. So I'm just going to click on the OK button, and that's the size of the design, but that's not the size I want to work with. I'm going to use the zoom all icon right here. I'll left click on that, and that brings the image to the screen. I'm going to right click on the background area because I don't want to digitize that background area. It wouldn't digitize anyway because of one of the defaults on the image processing screen. But I'm going to control delete it because I don't want it. It just takes up extra RAM unnecessarily, and I don't need it. Now I can generate. I suppose I should have explained by now, but I haven't, that when you left click, you will see a series of concentric circles appear and disappear. That is an indication that it is a left click, but it's provided by the video software, not generations. And when I right click, you'll see a series of concentric blue circles appear and disappear. That's an indication of a right click. So if I forget to say left click or right click, you'll know which one I did because of the concentric circles. And let's get on with this thing. The first thing I would like to do is go to accessories, and then come down and click on set default stitch type, and show you that the AutoJudge is the default stitch type that's being used. Here's area default stitch type, and here's line default stitch type. You could change those with this screen if you wanted to. Some people prefer to use complex, strictly complex, and you can do that by setting it here and click on user define. But I prefer to leave it on AutoJudge because AutoJudge does something special for you. It will give you a combination of complex and satin in the same area if you need it, and we have a case of that in this particular, with this particular design. The black has both complex and satin areas. I'll point that out to you. If the area fits strictly a complex, it'll give you a complex. If the area rules match satin, you'll get satin by themselves. Okay, but it'll still say AutoJudge down at the bottom of the screen when you select one of the objects, regardless of whether it uses complex or whether it uses satin or a combination thereof. I'm going to OK that, and I'll illustrate that. And I'll right click here, it says AutoJudge. When I right click one of the blues, it says AutoJudge. When I right click the black, it'll still say AutoJudge. Okay, that's enough. That's an explanation of that. And I can just show you that this one area here, I'm going to use the plus zoom tool and draw a box around here, this with my left mouse button, and I'll turn the needle penetration zone so that you can see that a little better. You see it fits the parameters for a complex fill. It's got stitch runs with stitches in between with a pattern to it. There's a pattern to that, and as opposed to the other areas in the same other sections in that same area are obviously satin. They're going back and forth with no stitches in the middle. This has stitches, bunches of stitches in the middle. That's the difference. Okay, that's enough of that. I want to now focus on showing you something about the color chips over here. The color chips are in orange, blue, black order. That's the sewing order. And the film strip, the official name is Stitch Sequence Viewer, but film strip is easier to say, is in the same order, the orange, blue, and black. The orange is a start up way up here with number 1 scroll bar here. Okay, I want to make the blue invisible. So when I left click on the blue color chip, it selects all the blue. It'll do the same thing for the orange and the black if I left click on those. See, it change it to the orange only. I want it on the blue, and then I'm going to show you how to make those blue chips, those blue frames invisible, and also invisible in the work area. If I click on the eyeball in this little control panel, this is a control panel for the film strip. Okay, this eyeball is represented here, and it's also represented in each frame. If I left click the eyeball in the control panel, it'll automatically put a little red X in each of the frames for the blue frames, and it also makes the stitches invisible. That's why that's an invisible command. To make things a little bit more visible, if you want to see it better, you could also hide the image temporarily using the hide/view view image icon. There you are. And you can see it's a little bit complex, but it still works very well, mainly because you got good cover with the blue areas. All this stuff gets covered up. These traveling stitches get covered up. That's what those are. The little stitches in between here is an indication that they are travel stitches. I don't see any pure jumps, but maybe there's one here. Anyway, no, that isn't one. That isn't one. That's part of a travel stitch going across here. Anyway, that's what I want to show you, and I'm finished with this particular video, and we'll continue this with the next video. Thank you, and we'll talk to you later now.